Well, the crazy news cycle just got that much more crazier. Some people are saying this is the energy we need. As during this type of ceremony with JD Vance and Kid Rock, a tragic, horrible incident has happened that now has many prominent right wingers calling for leftist, seditious Democrats to be arrested. As of course, begin the AI video and this information, as of course, we have a major event that just happened in Washington, D.C. with two National Guardsmen that we are, of course, following very closely. As the political debate has already started, as we still even do not know what motivated a crazy sicko to try to point blank take out two members of the U.S. National Guard right before Thanksgiving, as the U.S. government already is responding very aggressively to this, and there's many people calling for more aggressive actions, as some people on the left are already seen as celebrating the situation. What in the world's going on here? We're going to be talking about it, as well as the kind of bigger political discourse, as there's some people now talking about this could be the Muslim Brotherhood, this could be leftists, this could be liberals, this could be a false flag. What is it? What's going on here? We're going to do our best to ascertain everything as best as we can here, all on this independent media organization. And if you appreciate our efforts, subscribe, click the notification button, as of course today is a very tragic day, and a day where near the White House we had this major incident of a crazed person who is in custody and also has been shot and is in critical condition right now, that has been detained. So far, the U.S. government decided to respond to this by announcing 500 additional National Guardsmen being deployed to Washington, D.C. As of course, it looks like this administration is acting very quickly and decisively in response to this situation, which from all points of view looks like a very politically motivated type of hit job meant to send a message to the National Guard that a lot of leftists are comparing to Germans in the 1930s.
Very productive meetings, but I want to start by saying after those meetings, myself and my team were notified that two National Guardsmen have been shot in Washington, D.C., critically wounded. The shooter shot in a cowardly, dastardly act targeting the best of America, heroes willing to serve in Washington, D.C., serve for people they don't know and they've never met because they love their country and their capital and their community. They were willing to do dangerous things others were not because they love their fellow Americans. Someone decided to turn that into targeting National Guardsmen.
This, as Pete Hegseth announced, 500 more additional troops after he talked to the President of the United States. Also, there has been conflicting information from the governor of West Virginia, as it looks like the two soldiers that were targeted were from West Virginia. And he came out and broke the story that the two service members have passed away. He now is clarifying that there are conflicting reports about the condition of the National Guardsmen, but from all kind of insight here, specifically what we're hearing about happened here, where a guy just point blank came in there and shot them in the head, it's something that a lot of people usually do not survive, which is absolutely horrible. As a senior law enforcement official now told CBS News that roughly 10 to 15 shots were fired as the National Guardsmen fired back. They hit the suspect. The suspect is in also critical condition, and they are detaining him. And obviously now the federal authorities have not yet released a name. They are going to be getting search warrants for everywhere that he has been, and of course where he has lived. They are probably going to be scrubbing his social media accounts and then releasing the name to the general public. As of course, already this has become an extremely political topic, as we have Hassan Piker coming out saying, "We don't know any of the details of this incident, and MAGA Twitter has already started blaming Democrats for telling the military to not follow unlawful orders, which is the law." Savannah Hernandez has a good response here, saying, "There's only one side of the political aisle who has consistently called for violence against law enforcement, has been attacking and shooting ICE agents, and also widely celebrated the assassination of Charlie Kirk, and it isn't the right wing. You pompous a-hole." As Jack Posobiec just posted this, saying they're already celebrating the shooting of the National Guardsmen. As a lot of people are pointing to this man, saying that these National Guardsmen were, quote, kirked. And then he seems to be celebrating this situation. And again, lots of really sick, twisted stuff here. As, listen, this propensity of the left to become more and more violent is pretty clear here. Nick Shirley was just in Washington, D.C. There's people walking around with signs defiantly saying, "Is he dead yet?" There's people saying, "We got to take out the Germans from the 1930s," and then other people holding signs next to them in coordination with them saying, "Trump's the German, Trump and the military, Trump and the Republicans, Trump and anyone right of Mao Zedong is a German from the 1930s." As, of course, the message is pretty clear here, as we are also getting very strange reporting coming from North Carolina, highlighting specific orders for the military to disobey by setting up Proton encryption signals, VPNs, in order to defy the orders of the President of the United States, the Commander-in-Chief. What in the world's going on here? We're going to be talking about that. As Tim Pool's already saying, Civil War. We're going to get into that and a lot more. Before we do, just really quickly and shortly, we wanted to tell you about wearechange.shop. You can get a lot of incredible supplements. Now, our number one selling supplement is our omega-3 fish oils. Do your own homework before putting anything into your own body. We do it from small fish, sardines. I take it. I've been taking it recently. I really like it. The data, the science, especially with smokers, fascinating stuff. Wearechange.shop, great stocking stuffer. A lot of people report how it's really great for their brain, really great for their heart. Look at the independent studies yourself. Talk to a medical professional before putting anything into your own body. Wearechange.shop. Support us, support yourself, and let's grow this independent media organization. Now, let's continue on here, because, again, why are people on the right automatically saying it was people on the left? Well, the people on the left are literally celebrating it already. The people on the left are calling for the violence. A Virginia assistant principal and his brother were literally caught plotting to lure and violently ambush ICE agents. Yeah, that's the allegations against them. As, of course, ABC News now is saying and kind of hinting at, being like, well, you know, they help ICE. So, and I'm like, what? As Donald Trump Jr. said, what the F is wrong with the fake news? As ABC's Aaron Kudakowski is speculating on a motive, kind of hinting and insinuating here some weird, awful things.
Where a focus will turn to whether these guardsmen were specifically targeted. If that's the case, it would fit with what we've been hearing from law enforcement officials for a number of months now, that some political flashpoints in the country, whether that's immigration policies by the administration, the ongoing Israel-Hamas conflict, even amid a tenuous ceasefire, those kinds of flashpoints have made people in uniform, be they military, law enforcement, government officials, people in uniform have increasingly been targets, and that is going to be one focus of the investigation going forward, Kira.
Yeah, he's kind of like, oh yeah, kind of insinuating, oh, it's kind of Trump's fault. He's the one making it clash points and making them target. And I'm like, the people who choose violence, the people who promote it, the people who celebrate it, shouldn't be the ones that are scapegoated here. All right, violence, and it's kind of funny how he explained, oh, it's immigration or Israel-Palestine. Both of those issues are where left-wing people take the matter and situation into their own hands. MSNBC, breaking 9/11, says is defending this person.
But of course, there's so much controversy happening in the United States right now with ICE, who are also wearing uniforms and wearing masks. And so you don't know, people walking around with uniforms in an American city. There are some Americans that might object to that. And so apparently this shooting has happened.
Yeah, they object. That's a weird way of objecting. That's how you object? Like, what? And again, it looks like that journalist was just struggling to fill in the gap here and just trying to talk about stuff that he has probably no business of talking about here. There's other Democratic leaders and activists that were literally telling people that the National Guard is rounding on black people. We saw this from Carville as well, another big prominent CNN host who, right after Donald Trump won the election, warned about how Trump's going to round up all the black people. That didn't happen. It doesn't happen. Now, the people on the left are like, it's racist to have the National Guard in high violent areas, preventing violence from happening. Excuse me?
We believe that the National Guard and the military occupation is the first step into rounding black people up and putting them in detainment camps here in Washington, D.C. and around the United States of America. We believe that.
Talk about ignorant. That's what I couldn't help it. So yeah, Hassan, I don't like jumping to conclusions. And again, I always made it clear, we don't know the motive. We don't know who even this person was. Ongoing active situation. Authorities are now going to his home, going to his family's home, going to any place he stayed in. We're going to find out more details, and hopefully we get some transparency and accountability from the FBI, which has been very poor at providing that to the American people. Now, there's a lot of people on the right saying, listen, you better do something about this, something big. And I think we all got to be careful before overstepping our balance. As Tim Pool responded to here by saying, I'm assuming Islamic terror tied to Trump's designation of the Muslim Brotherhood. Just speculation, though. We will see, as a lot of people are playing Senator Elisa Slotkin's interview on ABC News this past Sunday, claiming that the National Guard were going to start taking the lives of American citizens, which is ridiculous. We played that video in the first video we did about this on the second channel. Don't forget to check out that second channel here. But there's a lot of weird stuff, especially in Fayetteville, North Carolina, right? Right outside a U.S. military base. There's this sign saying, did you go airborne just to pull security for ICE? And then they have a website. Now, what happens when you go on that website? Tim Pool responded, holy F, look at this website. This is overtly illegal. I don't want to say outright civil war when there's a good chance foreign actors are doing this too. But holy F, Secretary of War needs to stop this. When you go on that website, they're like, what? Not what you signed up for? You saw the billboard? You have questions? You're not alone. But first, here are proactive steps you can take to reduce the risk. Reduce the risk for what? What are you guys planning? What are you guys going to do? As of course, a lot of people believe we are on the precipice of a big type of civil strife conflict here inside of the United States. There's a lot of training, preparation, especially from this White House, saying all hands on deck, be prepared for potential civil unrest. Now, there was a lot of civil unrest during the BLM riots. It's pretty fair to assume, that's when Trump was in office, that they're going to try to do something like that again. Therefore, preparing for it is smart. But now, what else are they preparing for it? As, of course, you have CIA, Democratic senators and members of Congress coming out and saying, make sure you don't follow the orders if you're in the military of the commander-in-chief. They weren't specific about what orders. And now there's billboards telling military troops who are not aligned with the president of the United States to set up encrypted communications, Proton Mail, the Signal app, to use VPNs. And it says, be sure to access resources from a personal device, not a military or government computer, email account, phone, or Wi-Fi network. Support resources for service members. What? As people are saying, yeah, this needs to be looked into pretty severely. As, of course, General Michael Flynn just responded to all of this by saying, unrestricted warfare is war without bounds. Donald Trump's secretary headset. This is outside of the home of our airborne and special operations military communities. Truly the center of the universe for those who have ever leaped from perfectly good airplanes. There is an ideological sickness in America, and it's called socialism. Socialism is communism, is Marxism. They are all one in the same. We need a plan as a nation. One, recognize it. Two, do something about it. At Gabbard, Susie Willis, Stephen Miller, J.D. Vance here. As of course, people were talking about this weird type of billboard there. As people are asking the question, who financed this? Who paid for this? Is this a foreign nation just trying to sow division amongst us? Because who has the best and the most to gain from civil strife domestically inside of the United States? China, right? The number one type of competitor that's ramping up to this inevitable Thucydides trap that we are all involved in. As of course, Andy Nog is reporting. And again, there's also a lot of weird connections between China and a lot of leftists, liberal type of organizations. As Andy Nog now is talking about how Antifa and leftists on Blue Sky are celebrating the ambush of these two National Guardsmen. Now, again, when you look at the National Guardsmen, it's usually like bored kids who are like, what do you do in my life? I don't know, I'm just sign up for the National Guard. Give me something to do. Why are people celebrating it? As people are like, hot take, if you enforce fascism, and again, that's the word that they use. And this is why the establishment right using it on the anti-establishment right is such a big sticking point for me of how egregious it is just absolutely ridiculous. They support ICE. Like, my goodness gracious. And these types of comments are why people automatically think it's a leftist, because the leftists are like, good, more. Now, is it a leftist? We do not know. We have not gotten confirmation. But the temperature in the room is very hot. It is very tumultuous. It is something that I think deserves all of our attention, all of our resources in order to try to stop and prevent from escalating and unfolding here. And sometimes that deserves restraint. I want to ask you, what should Trump do? What's the appropriate countermeasure against, say hypothetically, we don't know if it's confirmed, but say hypothetically, which a lot of people believe it most likely is, say this is another left-wing attack and the left-wingers are celebrating it. What should Donald Trump do? What's the appropriate response? Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. As of course, again, just a few weeks ago, an Oregon congresswoman was talking about how the National Guard is coming to cities to be dangerous and tyrannical. Like, what did they do in Washington, D.C.? Like, first of all, I'm a big advocate of people being able to defend themselves, of people being able to stand up for themselves, of people being able to carry things, to be able to fight back. That's my number one type of approach here. Now, a lot of people are saying, oh, this is not politically motivated. It looks like the mayor of D.C. just admitted that this was a targeted attack, a very symbolic attack. Obviously, everyone's talking about this, and this is something that is absolutely worth talking about. Remembering prayers with those two troops, prayers that they're able to have Thanksgiving with their family members and their loved ones. Right now, the condition of them is still unknown. Who the exact shooter was, we still do not know. The actions of some of the left, it doesn't mean it's all the left, are already pretty disgusting. I'm checking right now to see if there's any updates in the making of this particular video, but we could probably expect something tomorrow or later on tomorrow in order to give you more of an honest kind of assessment here, because who did it and why they did it matters, because we should be doing everything in our power in order to make sure it never ever happens again. These type of attacks here, these types of incidences here are just absolutely something that sadly I think we're going to have to get used to, right? It's like, and then there's copycat effects. we got to be super careful not to make this guy into a hero, right? Like Luigi Mangioni's a hero, like the guy who took out Charlie Kirk's a hero to some. I don't even think. I think finding out why they did it is going to be important. The FBI might not even give us that. We'll see what they give us, as people will be trying and doing their best to try to connect the dots here to get a better understanding. And I think we need to understand it as best as we can, as fast as we can, to make sure something like this never ever happens again. If you agree, share this video. Thank you so much for being here, part of this independent media organization. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys doing this. And this is why I love you guys. Stay tuned for more, all here exclusively on youtube.com/wearechange.